What's going on, champs and chambettes? It's FireMonkey here, and it's been a while since we've talked about first-person mode in Fortnite, and I know some people might have even forgotten that we had leaked first-person mode coming to the game. A lot of people, were thinking that the first-person mode was supposed to release ages ago, that maybe got scrapped, maybe this and that happened, all these type of maybes, but no one really had a confirmation regarding anything at all, other than the fact that Epic Games was, at one point in time, working on a first-person mode, to the point where there was even glitches and exploits in the game to enable the first-person mode through Save the World a little bit early. And I don't have too much to share with you guys regarding first person mode, regarding like, oh, confirmed releasing for this time or anything, but what I can say is that I do have an update regarding if the mode is still being worked on, and it all relates to files that have been changed since the start of this season. So Epic Games has indeed been changing some files around and mixing up some stuff to work on this first person mode a little bit more, and what they've actually been doing and changing around to make things better is how the camera works. Now they have to update the camera for individual weapons, it seems like, and they're even updating the sounds for weapons as well. So based on the file changes from the start of only this season to the current state of this video, they have been updating a lot of camera effects and stuff. And for example, sound files are getting updated to better support first person mode, so it sounds more accurate to the gun being fired as if you're literally in the body of the character firing the gun. We have things such as the ray gun getting updated, cloak gauntlets, explosive repeaters, mammoth pistol, heavy snipers, Excalibur rifle, the kinetic boomerang, DMRs, makeshift revolvers. We even have older weapons such as the, normal crossbows getting updated, such as the makeshift pump getting updated out of everything, which is a little weird because we haven't heard any of the makeshift weapons coming to the game in quite some time here, but it could be because, they're trying to support creative mode as well, but they're also making, special effects and everything to make them work with even specific exotics, such as stuff like the Dragon's Breath Sniper, and even sound effects when you're eating fish, right? So they're trying to make it so all the sounds will actually work and be unique to that first person mode that releases, so it isn't as easy as them just swapping a camera view and being like, plop, there you go, you're now through the eyes of your character, because as we saw even when the glitch was available to us, it was a pretty buggy experience, and there was a lot of weapons that really just kind of looked weird in that perspective, right? But they are still updating it and they are still working on it. Now regarding when it will release, it could be chapter 5 season 1, it could be chapter 7, it really is just unknown regarding the start date. All I can really say and update you guys on is, hey, this is still getting updated. Now another thing to mention here is they've also been updating the camera to actually work with this first person mode a little bit more. Now the camera's been focused on in a few different areas, at least right now in the files, such as using weapons, but also certain things such as doing emotes or using sprays. Now I'm interested to see why specifically they're focusing on the whole entire way that sprays work in the game for the first person camera, but I assume if we go ahead and do a spray here, so I'll just quickly grab a random one, you can see how it kind of does a little spray icon up there in front of your face to the top right. I assume that maybe they're trying to make it so it has a little bit more of a Call of Duty style effect. As you guys know, when you use sprays in that game, you can see your hand doing the actual spray in front of your face, but it's more to the bottom right area, right? It's not taking up as much of the screen space as Fortnite would if you just kind of went first person mode. So I think instead of it trying to take up the whole entire right side of your face, being just in the middle of your eyes and everything, they're trying to find a way to optimize the camera view so when you're doing things such as even hitting things with your pickaxes, you're not going to have the entire view obstructed by this mode. And I feel like that could be one of the things that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult and a little bit longer of a period for them to actually work on when it comes to first person mode. And who knows, maybe that could even be one of the stopping points for why they would stop working on first person mode, but at least for right now, and at least from what we can tell, they're still working on it. They're still trying to make sure every skin is optimized so that it would work correctly with the camera. They're still making sure that all their animations, their sounds, their actual way you're using certain weapons and stuff in the game, and all of that is being updated so that you can do first person. But it is a question that I've seen a lot of people actually talk about and discuss, in my community particularly, being like, hey FireMonkey, do you have any updates on this? Do you know when it's releasing? And something I want to make clear, right, is I never said that it was confirmed to be releasing for a specific season or anything. The reason why everyone thought it was going to be releasing for chapter 4 was because back when I actually managed to get leaks for, chapter 4 season 2, we had a lot of leaks that never ended up happening because they were for future seasons, and in the leaks was a lot more, information regarding that Varg mode, aka first person mode, regarding how it's being worked on and everything else, and it is something just like, wall running or wall kicking that Epic Games is still working on behind the scenes, and we really just kind of gotta wait and see how long the process goes on for before it releases, or before we get some sort of confirmation being like, oh, this is scrapped. But keep in mind that a lot of things that people think are scrapped could eventually end up releasing in the game normally anyways, areas, because as the loot pool actually currently goes, and as everything else currently goes in the game, it is just in this interesting area where even the most wanted skins that we all thought was scrapped could release anytime in the future whenever Epic Games would want to, because they have still been updating them to work properly with the loot pool, and well, not work properly with the loot pool, but you know, work properly with all the different sprays and everything else you're able to get in the item shop and everything in that area. So yeah, you know, technically you could take this update as a nothing burger, because it's like, yeah, sure, they're still working on it, you know, it's nothing else, they're just working on it. It doesn't mean that it's actually releasing, and you're completely fine to believe that. But when it comes to news and leaks and everything else, I think it is nice and reassuring for some people just to know that, yeah, it's still being worked on, but we have specific information to prove that they're working on certain things. We've also got to keep in mind that at this exact same time, Epic Games is working with their whole meta sound system to try to get AI generated sound effects, and they've done it before with the campfires, for example. So maybe they're trying to, you know, tinker with the AI sounds in order to get all those sound files for first person mode working in a specific way where the AI system can help take control of all that stuff and allow for those sounds to be made with less effort and, you know, a higher quality to kind of give it that more spatial sound effect. Because, you know, some weapons, I feel that if you were to use it in first person mode, like for example this, if we go ahead and shoot it normally, right? It's going to make a loud sound and everything else, but imagine hearing that from the perspective of you just being in your character's face, right? I feel like they definitely would have to try amplifying the sound or something to make it sound a lot more powerful and a lot more like you're actually in the eyes of the character instead of having the eyes of the character but not the ears of the character as well. Of course, that is just kind of like my little theory, but I would love to hear in the comments down below, what do you guys think is going on with first person mode? Do you think Epic Games is going to eventually end up just scrapping it entirely, or do you hope that it eventually does release? Because I mean, there's been times before where, you know, certain things ended up being super popular in the game ended up just kind of getting shadow dropped out of nowhere. No one really had leaks on it, no one knew it was really coming too much or anything like that. And then there's been other times, why has this campfire still been burning this entire time? Wait, hold on, wait. Okay, that's a weird glitch. The campfire's not even burning anymore. It's just the flames are still there. But yeah, you know, it's like there's a lot of times when things have been kind of, you know, like shadow dropped out of nowhere that ended up being super hyped up. And then there's been other times where we had a lot of information regarding something Epic Games has been working on. And, you know, we had little leaks here and there regarding different modes and everything else that ended up getting scrapped and never released in the game, right? So it's always going to be in this weird little spot where it's like, okay, we know it's happening, but we don't know if they'll ever actually push it to the live game or not. With that said, however, I'll catch you champs and champettes next time with another YouTube video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and peace out.